Okay, we're ready to begin with the Wyoming Cowboys. We have student athletes Darius Gilmore, Josh Adams, Larry Nance Jr., Coach Larry Scheid. Coach, we can start with you, your comments on today's game.
Well, I'm really proud of these guys. I'm proud of a lot of things and a lot of attributes, but I'm probably proudest of the fact that today was probably synonymous with many games we played this year because they really didn't care if a team was 14th in the nation or on the road or home. They played with a sense of urgency. They played with a level of toughness, and especially coming out in the second half down 10 to make their staff call timeout to cut the game to 3 and to hold them, if I'm not mistaken, for 11 and a half minutes without a basket, to me, really is an example of what they've been to me personally. It's not easy to rely on defense when you're troubled on offense, and this team has consistently done that. I'm proud of them. The other things I can't say because my wife would kill me and the commissioner would be pissed too.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Now we'll open up to questions for the student athletes.
Robert Gagliardi, the Wyoming Tribune Eagle. For Darius or Josh, you know, again, like Coach Scheid said, just shots couldn't go down. Were they doing anything defensively, or just tough to get shots going, or why? Just why? What do you think the offensive struggles tonight?
Shots, we got good looks at the rim. Some shots we had to force up, but besides that, I think we executed as well as we possibly could. You got to give credit to Mexico. They're a really good defensive team, and shots just didn't go in, but we're okay.
Larry, I know that you and Leonard were both in foul trouble tonight. You were able to stay in the game and Leonard fouled out. Just how tough was that to juggle that? I know Coach Scheid was having you guys in there when you were in foul trouble and stuff. Just how tough was that, and did that take anything away from what you guys wanted to do on either end of the floor because of that?
Well, I mean, it's always tough to be playing this caliber of a team in foul trouble, but I definitely think we did a fairly good job of kind of playing them and staying in the game for the most part. I mean, those free throws is what hurt us. So, I mean, foul trouble hurts.
Scott Dolph, Larry Boomerang. Darius, you guys played them hard for 3 straight games. How I guess, overly difficult is it the fact you weren't able to get over the top of one of them? I mean, you probably played them about as hard as anybody has this season.
I think that we played them tough 3 games. All 3 games we was right there. A few possessions away from actually taking the lead and running away with the game. Today, I really thought we had a great chance. We was right there. We was down 10 going into the second half. Come back, start the second half, and we went on a good run. We had the momentum, and then they just made like 11 or 12 straight free throws that kind of just separated the game. And then from there, we was just trying to hustle and get back into it as much as possible.
Josh, the first half was a little more high scoring. Was it maybe a little more high scoring, high up tempo than what even you guys wanted for a game like this?
I mean, I guess you could say that we just try to go out there and kind of slow a team like New Mexico down. They're a well-coached team. They have a lot of scorers on their team, in Williams and Snell, and then the 2 bigs. Early in the first half, I just think they hit shots we didn't. They hit some tough shots. They hit some open shots, and it was just rolling their way. And like Darius said, in the second half, we came out and went on a nice run, and we were able to keep them at bay for most of the half. And I think that's why it was a little bit lower scoring in the second half.
Larry, Coach said that this has been synonymous with the season. I guess, do you kind of agree with that? It seems like you guys have had some ups and downs this year, but of all effort levels, usually been there every night. You feel that this game was kind of, I guess, shows kind of how you guys have played all year.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, Coach said that we were not going to give up, and whether we're down 10 or 19 at Illinois State, we're not going to give up. And I think that's just kind of the attitude this team has had from the very beginning, and I think that's a pretty good attitude to have. Never give up.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay, we'll dismiss them at this time. Thank you, men. Now we'll open up questions for the coach.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. Coach, over here. I know you don't want to upset your wife or the commissioner, but I do want to ask about the free throw disparity. How much of that do you credit to a tempo of slowing it down and running a weave beyond the arc, and how much of that did New Mexico create by attacking?
I thought they created a lot by attacking.
Robert Gagliardi, the Wyoming Tribune Eagle. Larry, and you could look like what Leonard was really hurting out there tonight. Just how hard was that for him? I know he was in the foul trouble, and all your bigs were in foul trouble, but how hard was that for him? And, not that you're not used to having him hurting, but how hard was that against a team like this tonight?
Well, first of all, they have great talent at every position. They're the best in our league. When you say, is it disappointing to lose to them 3 times, I'm proud we played well against them 3 times. And, results obviously count, but they've won 27 games. They've only lost 5. So we're in a long list of losers. To me, it's not the final score. It's what you do with what you have. And that's what I'm proud of. And Leonard, for 6, 7 games now, has tried to give this school and this team and this state everything he's had. He's the first to admit, like yesterday, he just doesn't have it right now. The back is just at a point where he has the greatest gift he probably has is lift, and he doesn't have lift right now. But I tell you what, I owe him a lot of respect for the level of toughness he's tried to show. And, I just wish he could have performed like Leonard these last 6 or 7 games. And hopefully, with 3 or 4 more days rest, he will in the next tournament.
You mentioned the next tournament. I know you've mentioned that before. Whatever postseason tournament is, you feel this team is worthy and deserving to go. And if so, do you think they'll be excited and ready for that next tournament?
Well, when we came to Wyoming 2 years ago, they were 280 on the RPI. You fill in the blank. Last year, we were 90. This year, we're 67. And maybe after tonight, we went forward after we played number 2 on the computer. And I've said this all year. They never went to college. The computers don't know the names of the coaches. They don't know the names of the players. They don't know who's supposed to win. They only know who the best teams are if you played home and away. And right now, that's where we're at. I don't think there's ever been an NIT team not selected below 70.
Over here.
Coach Ken Rodriguez from the redminists.com. You mentioned the 11 and a half minutes that you guys were able to hold the Lobos to no field goals. What was the difference in that stretch versus what you guys were doing in the first half? Did you guys make any adjustments at halftime?
They had a couple runouts. Snell hit a 3 on a runout, and they got an offensive rebound on a runout early in the game, and the game was a lot faster than most of our games began. Actually, they had 10 points in the first 4 minutes, which was on their way to 55, which, we'd have set all kinds of records. But as the tempo began to go more the way we are familiar with, I thought they struggled to score from our people, and they caused us to foul excessively. Isn't that a nice way to put it?
Back over here.
Coach, I'm curious back over here at the Albuquerque Journal. Again.
Nice.
The crowd, the Lobos travel a lot of people to the Mountain West tournament. Your tempo did a great job in pretty much quieting them down. Was that going in? Did you mention that to your team that you needed to take the crowd out in any way?
Didn't talk about the crowd. I will tell you this. I felt like I was in the pit, and I was really disappointed. But we felt there's certain things we could take advantage of playing the Lobos all 3 games. At home, we actually tied it with 21 seconds to go and got a tough call, and the ball went the other way. And I thought today, to the relative sense, with about 12 and change to play, I felt pretty good, not only about the tempo. I felt like the heart of our team was really in pace with the game. And then as Larry said, it's very difficult. You got 3 guys with 4, and then a couple foul out, and that. Kudos to New Mexico. I thought their staff did a great job fouling us out.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach. For New Mexico, we have student athletes Tony Snell, Cameron Barstow, Coach Steve Alford. Coach, if we can start with you, some remarks on tonight's game.
Well, we always break it into seasons, and when you get to season 3, you've got to win to advance. Season 3 can be quick, or it can be a 3-game deal or a 2-game deal. So to get to the semis, we feel very fortunate and very pleased. I thought our guys were terrific tonight. We really guarded the way we've been guarding all year. I think we made things hard on them. It became a very physical game, which our guys have proven they don't mind physicality as part of a game. And I just thought we had a lot of good play. I thought Kendall's performance on Gilmore in the second half was huge for us. Here's the player of the year that only gets 1 field goal, but what he did defensively might have been the key to the game. And then Tony and Cam had to play an awful lot of minutes because of foul trouble with Alex, and I thought he was terrific. It was a career high in minutes for him. He just did a lot of good things for us, especially defensively, because I've always felt that the key to beating Wyoming is Nance and Washington. They had 17 field goals last night. They combined those 2 and Cook, and tonight they combined for 7. And I thought that was going to be a big key, and these guys had a lot to do with it. And Tony continues to do the job defensively, shut out Gerbeau, which hadn't been done a lot this year. And I think you're seeing our team go to the next level just because of the development of Tony defensively.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now open up for questions for the student athletes.
Tony, you guys have played 3 back and forth tough games with Wyoming. I guess kind of they've had some ups and downs this season. I guess kind of what's your impression of them as a team, and kind of you've seen them as much as anybody. Kind of what's your take on kind of their build as a team when you have to go against them?
Well, we know they really cut hard, so we got to try to keep up with them and try to use our length to make them drive it, because they're not really good they're pretty good of shooting the ball, but we rather let them drive it, and we have help defense on them.
Cam, Leonard Washington, I know he was hurt some, but for 3 games, you guys really took Leonard Washington out of the game in the post. He averaged 5 points in 3 games against you guys this year. I'm curious what the game plan is going in, knowing Leonard Washington, when healthy, is probably their best weapon.
Yeah, I mean, the scouting report is he wants to go left, likes to use shot fakes. So we really focused on that aspect and try to make him catch it off the block. But I think in game 1 and this game, we did a great job of getting him in foul trouble early, and I think that really affected him in both of those games.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Back here.
Everybody's talking about that this felt like Pit West. How much did the fans play a part in how well you guys dominated this game?
Oh, man. Well, the fans are definitely a big time part of how we play, because they bring us energy when we hear them, screaming, cheering for us. They give us energy to play better and pick each other up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you run out and you hear the cheers, it really does lift you up. And I mean, you look out and it's a sea of red out there, and that really influenced the game. I feel like it really felt like a bit of a home court advantage, which it always helps. You know, every time we made a big basket, they were on their feet. So I think it really helped in this game.
Right here, guys.
Okay. Guys, the people can talk about defense, but you did go 11 minutes without a field goal. Do you now actually realize that it's going to be defense that wins in tournament games, and is that where your emphasis is now?
We emphasize that since day one. You know, we can't never win games without having defensive stops. You know, the offense is always going to be there, but if you can't never defend a team, then you won't win games.
Tony, Coach praised your defense and how your defense has come from the beginning of the season up until now. But your offense here in this first game was pretty outstanding. Can you talk about what your mindset from the offensive end was heading into this game?
Well, I figure I'll try to, be aggressive, from the start, try to be a threat out there, because if they help me, and I could just drive and kick to find other players and they can be able to score. So I just try my best to do good both sides of the ends.
Cam, talk about the first 11 minutes in the second half. You guys were really struggling offensively, but you didn't press much and you were still able to defend. Talk about the character of this team and how you're able to rebound from not playing well offensively.
I think we just have faith in each other. You know, guys are going to step up, which they have the whole year. So even when we're not playing well at a particular point, we just keep pushing, try to get the free throw line, try to get the easy scores. And I think we did a good job of being patient offensively tonight and down the stretch especially. And obviously holding them to 46 points, it was all on the defensive end, even when we weren't scoring.
Over here.
Either one of the student athletes. The fact that UNLV opened up today with a dominating win, you guys coming in tonight, was it important in any way, shape, or form to make the same kind of statement? Was it in your mind mentally to come out and make a statement in terms of a dominating win? Did any of that transpire in your guys' pregame chat?
Our statement every game is just anything we can do to get a win. Wins always count. I don't care if it's 1 point or 2 points. As long as we get wins, that's all that matters for us.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll dismiss the student athletes at this time.
Thank you.
Now we'll take questions for Coach Alford. We're here.
Coach, a couple questions. First off, I do want to ask about the crowd. They've done this before, but Larry said he felt like it was the pit, and he was rather disappointed by it. Can you talk about the crowd first?
Well, we know what kind of crowd we have. We know what kind of fans we have. I've said it so many times. It's a blessing and honor to be the head coach in New Mexico, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But at the top of that list has always been our fan base. Our fan base is incredible. They're loud. Our guys come out. They're into the game. Even being in a neutral setting here, they still do the things that they do in the pit. We're up 5. You got the ball. They know to get up because that's a big defensive stop. We get up 8, and we have the ball. They get up because they know the difference in being up double figures, what that means. They're just a very knowledgeable fan base, and we appreciate what they do more than you could possibly imagine. They're a big part of our program.
Another question there, because this is a conference tournament and it's March and there's eyes around the country that haven't seen you guys watching games like this. This isn't the first time you guys have had a rather ugly game where another team tried to slow things down.
Well, yeah, and I guess it's in the eyes of the beholder of what's pretty and ugly. In March, when you win by 13 points, to me, it's pretty. We may not have shot the ball well. We've had a lot of games this year we haven't shot the ball well. The key and the identity to this basketball team, I think things change year to year, but our identity has always been the defensive end. Now, we went on this last road trip, and we shot the ball pretty well. But our identity really has been what you saw today. We hold a team to 8 field goals both halves. They score 22 in one half. They score 24 in the other. They shoot less than 35%. They get out rebounded. We took care of the basketball, only turned the ball over 9 times, and we make more free throws than our opponent attempted. That has been who we have been all year long. And I told the guys afterwards, you were just who you are, and that's been good enough throughout the non-league. It's been good enough through our league, and I've told them going into this conference tournament, that's who you got to be. Don't be somebody. Don't try now that you're in postseason and the hoopla of March, don't all of a sudden try to change your identity. And then when we have games where we shoot the ball well, then we go to another level. But this has really been who we've been through most of the 32-game schedule we've played.
And then just one quick follow-up to that. People were talking about the 11-minute stretch. If you go back to the first half, it was actually over 12 minutes that you guys went without a field goal. That's got to be a stretch that has to be concerning at some point. Does it not?
We're the number 1 league in the country. We're now 14-3 in it. It's not easy winning 3 games against somebody, and we've won 2 of those games by double digits. And we've held them the last 2 times. Wyoming hadn't got to 50. You're not going to lose very many games when you hold people to 46 points and 32% shooting. When you do that, you're going to give yourself a chance to win. And what doesn't show up on the stat sheet is toughness. I've got a very tough group. They are a winning group. Look at Kendall Williams. Kendall Williams, Player of the Year in this league, deservingly so. And he has 1 field goal. He didn't play, and I thought he had a very good game. We made the switch right before halftime. Gilmore had 11 quick points. He gets 1 field goal the rest of the way out and shoots 4 for 17. I think he's a very good player. That switch was Kendall, and Kendall did a great job on him. You look at Nance and Washington and Cook combined for 17 field goals. Last night they scored in the 80s. Tonight they scored in the 40s, and those 3 combined for 7 field goals. There's a reason why this team's 27-5. They don't just execute at the offensive end. They probably do a better job of executing the game plan and what's set up at the defensive end, and there's a lot to be said about that.
Right there.
Coach
Go ahead.
Ben Fredrickson with the Casper Star Tribune. Coach Hyatt said that the way Wyoming played tonight was kind of synonymous with their season. I guess, you've played them 3 times now. You guys have gone back and forth. You always obviously ended up getting the better of the situation. They've kind of had some ups and downs this year. I just kind of want to get your take on them as a team. And I know they're at times playing shorthanded, but kind of as an opponent, how would you describe kind of playing them?
Well, Larry does a great job. He's like all the other coaches in our league. That's what makes this league so special. We got great coaches. We got great players. And Larry and his staff do a great job. They had a quick turnaround. It's not easy. That's why we play the league. That's why, I was proud of our guys to be the number 1 seed. It's not easy playing the 8-9 game and then turning around and playing what I think is a really good basketball team. I think we're really good. I think our starting 5, I'd put our starting 5 up against anybody. I think we've proven that in who we've played. So that's not easy. And for them to come in and battle, and we had them down double figures in the first half. They came back, built it back up in the second half. But the thing about Larry's players, they play extremely hard. They have great pace at both the offensive end, and they really guard you. That's why I'm not real worried about shooting. We shot 40%. We've done that a lot this year. That doesn't concern me a whole lot because I know we had a very good defensive team that we were playing against. And I've always thought Wyoming does a very good job at the defensive end.
Let's go over here first.
Coach Bruce Marshall at Sports Byline, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've done a lot in your career, Big Ten in the Valley as a coach, but this league, this year, the diversity of the teams, have you seen in your career a league where you're playing so many different styles of teams too, and how that's going to help you as you go to the big dance next week?
Well, I hope it does. The last 3 games have been just what you're talking about. We play Nevada, who's one style, then you go to Air Force, and it's a totally different style, and now you play Wyoming, even in a more different style. So we see that in our league a lot. Most of our league's man-to-man, so we have not seen a lot of zone. That's something that maybe you get to the national tournament and you get matched up with somebody that's a zone team. Might be the only thing that we haven't seen a lot of. But we've played well against zones because Air Force is a matchup zone team. We've scored big both of the games we've played against them. So we do think we're well prepared. I thought this was a big game for us because we will go into the national tournament now, regardless of what our record is, regardless of what happens here in the weekend, going into the NCAA tournament, not losing back-to-back games. And that's a big deal when you can get that momentum. We lost at Air Force in a tough game, really a last-second shot, and to rebound like this and win by double figures and get back on that winning ways, our 27th win. There's just a lot of good things about this team, and they're a really tight group. I think they're well prepared. We're healthy right now. Hugh got banged up a little bit with his neck on a screen, so we got to get him some treatment here. But we're pretty healthy, so hopefully we can get through this weekend.
Back here.
Hey, Coach. Lauren again from
Hello.
KOAT. Hi. So, everybody that we're talking to outside, they're excited, of course, about this tournament, but they keep just saying Sweet 16. They skip the rest of March Madness and go straight to Sweet 16. I know you're probably a one-step first kind of guy, but you got to be thinking about the tournament right now. How do you think this game bodes for you guys looking forward, and what do you think?
Well, I think obviously we knew we were in, but staying away from that first round loss or the quarterfinal loss, I think that just solidifies what you're going to do with your seeding. We do get to the semifinals now. We're in the #1 league in the country by RPI standards. So now, if you would happen to slip on the weekend, it's not as big hurting your seed as I think maybe it would be in a quarterfinal loss. So that's just another hurdle you do. We understand the Sweet 16 feel. I've been in Albuquerque now 6 years. I know how bad fans want to get to the Sweet 16. Our program wants to do that. In fact, we haven't talked about the Sweet 16. We've talked about getting as far as we possibly can. We feel like it's a tournament that we can do some damage in, but you have to be fortunate. I've been in this business a long time as a coach. I was in it as a player. We won on my senior year when we won the national championship. We won on the last day of the year, and Purdue lost, which gave us the #1 seed in the tournament, which kept us in Indy and in Cincinnati. That's a lot different than being in Indiana and getting shipped out west. So you got to get fortunate. You got to get lucky. And then when you get those breaks, you got to take advantage of them. And I will say this is a team that, because of the 2 championships they won a year ago and now winning this league the way they won it, it's a confident group. They believe they can do some things. Doesn't mean we're going to get to that level. Boy, I hope we do. But it's not going to take away from our year if we don't. I don't want it to be that kind of deal. But we understand the fans. We want to do it probably more for them than we do anything else because we have such a great fan base.
Hey, Coach, one last question. Just rewinding a little bit to earlier in the year, you knew this was going to be a good team and the league was going to be tough. You had a very tough non-conference schedule. You look St. Louis, Cincinnati,
Right.
The Aggies. You didn't shy away from a tough schedule there. How much did that help you coming into the Mountain West, having played that tough non-league schedule?
Well, we got fortunate. Scheduling's hard, and we did get fortunate. And teams that we've played have played well and had good years. South Dakota State's in, Valpo's in the tournament. UConn would have been in the tournament if eligible. We played them. So Cincinnati, they're trying to work their way in through the Big East tournament. So we did. We played a very, very demanding schedule, and it worked out well for us that we stayed healthy, and we were able to schedule up and win. And I think our league did that. I think that's why we're the #1 league RPI-wise in the country. It wasn't just us. Other teams in our league scheduled up, and then they won. And when you do that, you reap the benefits of it, and that's why our league has been very good top to bottom. So I hope that prepares us. We literally thought it was a year away. I'll be honest with you. When you lose Drew Gordon and A.J. Hardiman and Philip McDonald, we didn't see this coming at this level. We returned our entire starting 5. So the future is exciting and bright, and yet we got to live in the moment knowing that this is a pretty special team, and we want to play as long as we can.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.